big good morning to you, Adams Mahama and Mr. Michael. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
I like your title, Sales and Marketing Manager of the Accra Compost and Recycling Plant. That tells me that there is a lot of money there because you're wearing a nice suit. But I'll start with you, Adams Mahama, a communication officer at Zoomline. What does your job entail? What do you do?
Communications in Zoomline, that's a lot of stuff. We are the leading private waste management company in the country, and then we need to talk and then for the company. So basically, we are the mouthpiece of Zoomline Ghana Limited.
So what does the mouth say? What is your key message?
Well, our key message is that every year we have message. We have a message that we put across, and then this year we found attitudinal change as our key program that we need to run for this.
Attitudinal change.
Yes.
Tell me about it. What about my attitude would you want to change, and in which regard?
Oh, okay. Over the years, I mean, Ghanaians have we've tried. I will put it that way. We've tried looking at before 2006 when Zoomline came into the scene. I believe we both know the sanitation problems that we're all facing. And from 2006 to now, we know we've made giant strides in our quest. And then we are moving on, but we are not there yet. And then we found attitudinal change as key to our challenge. So we plan that this year we are going to enroll up a massive public education project that we are not looking at one direction. We are looking at mass media that is on radio and TV. We are looking at sanitation debates in various communities across the country. We are looking at Islamic public education that we are doing in partnership with Sheikh Ishaq Nuama, the Islamic scholar. We are looking at public education at market centers. So our public education is trying to be an all-inclusive one. We are not targeting just one group of people. We're targeting everybody, from market women to the people in the community, to the people in the mosque, people in the church, everywhere.
And what is it that you want to educate us on?
Yes, most of our education will be on proper ways of waste disposal.
Proper ways of waste disposal.
Yes,
okay, we're used to our Zoomlion bins. You give us the bins, we put our waste in them, you come and pick them up, you get paid. What's going to change?
We are emphasizing more on it. It's not going to change. Our process is still the same, but yet we still find people littering. So that is what we are tackling now. We give you the bin. We give you the bin to put waste in it, not to just leave it there. But you still find the litters around. Even when you take our main streets, we've placed some bins at vantage points. So we are educating the public to use the bins, because when we place them there and they don't use them, then we've not achieved our aim. So we want to place them there and also educate the public to use the bins for us.
Collection. So you're talking about collection.
Collection of the waste.
How much of the waste, for example, in Accra, are you able to collect in percentage terms, and what is your target?
Yes, our target basically is 100%. Everybody wants to do everything.
You want to clean everything up?
We want to clean everything. That is our target. We want to clean everything in the country. We don't just want to pick a certain portion. Not even just Accra. We are not limiting ourselves to Accra. All our projects are nationwide. When you talk about sanitation and you clean Accra and you leave Kumasi, what have you done? That means Ghana is still dirty. So we are targeting the whole country.
Your target is the whole country
to Accra.
100%, all the waste. How much are you doing currently?
Currently, we are taking about 70% of the waste.
Nationwide or in Accra?
Nationwide. We are taking 70% of the waste. The 30% end up in gutters and on our streets, and that is what we are controlling. That is why we are enrolling this major, massive public education program.
Okay, and my figures tell me that only 60% of the total waste that's generated in Accra goes to landfill sites. So this is where you come in, Michael.
Yeah.
Once the collection has been done, that's when you start getting really excited, because then all you need to worry about is how to transport this raw material to your recycling plant and how to process it into compost and everything else. Tell me a little bit about your operation.
Yes, our operation starts with the waste getting to us, the supply.
The transport.
Yes, we are not too much into the transport. It's Zoomlion that does the collection and the transportation. In addition to other private companies that do the transportation. We are very critical about the supply, because at any point where the supply is broken, the chain is broken, it means we're not getting raw material to process. As you rightly said, close to about 60-70% is only of the waste generated is able to get to the landfill. Our plant capacity is about 600 tons, metric tons a day. We almost at 600 now. What we're doing is when we receive the waste from Zoomlion, from the source, we are able to just sort the waste. Our waste is, the problem is the waste is commingled.
So you have to sort it out yourself?
We have to sort it because the facility is to produce compost. So we have to separate the organic component from the recyclables. And that's what we do. And
so what do you take out essentially? You take out the plastics, the glass, and the metals?
Metals, paper, textiles.
Paper and textiles as well have to come out?
Yes. Anything that is not organic.
That's not food basically?
Exactly. Will have to come out. And then we separate the organic component. We transfer that to the composting plant where the composting process takes off there. 600
metric tons. That's roughly a quarter of the amount of waste that we generate on a daily basis in Accra. You can process a quarter of that on a daily basis. Yeah. Are you running at full capacity?
Yes, we're almost at 600 now.
Okay, but since the supply outweighs your capacity by 4 to 1, why do you say that it's of concern to you? There's more raw material than you can handle.
No, currently we only have 3 disposal sites. You have Abukobi, which is already given up. Then you have engineered landfill site, and then the third point is our end. When we formerly having the Achimota landfill, we had problems with the supply. The transporters found our place too far to bring the waste. But now, because the Achimota is closed and capped, we have no option than to bring it to the place. And then again, once they bring it, yes, we are constrained. We have capacity issues. We can only do 600 tons a day. So we make sure that we get the 600 tons daily. And then I'm happy to say that out of the 70, when we take 60-70% of the 2,500, you're talking closely about 1,500 thereabout. So if we are doing 600 a day, that means we are doing about 50% of the waste that should have otherwise gone to the landfill site. So that's how critical our facility is to the management of the waste in the system. So we are reducing the pressure on the landfill by half daily. You understand?
Interesting. Now you're the sales and marketing manager. So what is your product? What is it that you sell and market, and to whom?
As I rightly said, the mandate of the firm is to produce compost, high quality compost for
fertilizer.
Yes, organic fertilizer for agricultural purposes. And then again, my department or my role is to create sustainable demands for the products. Mind you, I said we recover recyclables from the waste before we touch on the organic. So all the recyclables that we identify or recover during the process, my department's job is to find markets for these products. I must say that it's been quite challenging and interesting in the sense that our waste, because it's mixed up, the recoverables, the recyclables that we are able to recover are of low value, very, very dirty, and not as neat as the factory rejects. And then again, the waste that comes to us, they are actual residues, I may say. We have issue with scavengers. They pick up all the valuables in the waste before they come to us. So if you take metals, for instance, you're not going to see any high quality ferrous metal there. All you get is the cans, which are of the low grade. You talk of plastics, you're not getting the PPs and then the HDPs that have high values. You get all the scavengers and even the drivers that bring them to us. They pick all these things before they bring them to us. Yeah, so all that we are left with is the organic component that we have able to turn into organic fertilizer that we are making available now to the farming community.
So there's a subsidiary economy to this. There are people who pre-sort this at various levels before it even gets to you.
Oh yes, yes.
Frederick Enning, challenging you, Mr. Adams, says he thinks that the eyes of Zoomlion are on Accra, on the ACCRA, and not about Kumasi, Takoradi, and the rest. And and Isa wants to know what the benefits accruable to the nation are, as well as to the individual, assuming that we engage in what you might call proper and efficient waste management. Because to him it looks like the number of people engaged in it, the trend is quite insignificant. What would you say to these two comments?
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate their comment, and I welcome it very well. And then I'm sure if he is in, I'm not privy to where he's coming from or where the region in which he is in. But we are in all 10 regions. We are in all districts. We have district offices. We have regional offices where we replicate everything we do in Accra in the regions. So I'm sure if he finds out in the regions, he would get much information. And then people think waste management is just collecting of the waste and then going to dump. But waste management is not just collecting and then going to dump. That is why when we say proper ways of waste disposal, that is what we mean. It's not just the collection and then the dumping process. It's a scientific and a systematic way of doing things. That's what we are doing now. Because formerly, we just used to use sacks, and then we just put the waste in. When they come, we throw them back into a Kia truck or something. But you know that now we are using the compactors. We are using the compactors to cut the waste, which is very hygienic and affordable and comfortable. We give you a very nice litter bin in your house. We come, we carry it, we put it in our compaction truck, we move to our transfer stations, we move to the compost plant, we do the disposal, which should not harm anybody. That is what we are stressing on. I mean, if you collect waste and you dump it at a place that will come back to harm the community, then you are not doing a good job. You should properly handle waste. That is what we mean by quality or improve environmental sanitation or waste management.
Now, lots of people might agree with Jojo Smith, who is posting to us with a statement. Says he thinks the major problem that we are facing in Ghana when it comes to waste is with plastic waste. That's our major problem. So separating only the organic might not, do very much to address the plastic waste. And he wants to know what your thoughts on that are. First yours, of course, Adams, and then yours, Michael.
Oh, okay, thank you very much. With the plastic banners, we are on hands with it. Just like we were discussing even before the program with you about our plastic to cash project. We have identified that is it's a major problem, and then we are trying to solve it. Currently, we import our waste bins, but currently we are buying back, or we are taking back our waste bins into our plant where we can recycle the bins. We have a plant that is to produce bins on daily basis. One bin will be produced every 3 minutes. So if we are operating from morning to evening, it should tell you the number of bins that we are going to produce to distribute in Ghana. We are not exporting it, we are producing and distributing in Ghana to control, so that our plastic indiscriminate dumping of our plastic would also come down, because we are putting it into cash. And then we are also creating jobs by doing that, because we are going to build buyback centers in all 10 regions where we can buy back. We are not just taking the plastic from the people, because people are supposed to go and pick the plastics and then bring them to us into cash. That is how we call it the plastic to cash project. We will pay them and then we take the plastic, so which is also increasing reducing unemployment on that scale. So we will be rolling out this project as very soon. So the public should also, but what we pray is that when we roll out such project, the public should also contribute by also helping us, giving us the supplies that we want.
Okay, Michael, now your company, the recycling, compost and recycling plant, already has a setup for sorting waste. How big a cost is it, and how lucrative is sorting plastics and other waste materials from the organic ones?
You said how lucrative?
Yeah, how lucrative is it?
Well, it's not lucrative sorting because it comes with high cost. if the waste had already been separated from source, the organic material would have moved straight to the composting plant, and then probably the other recyclables will be made available to respective markets without again having to go through that process. But I must say that, as I said initially, our role is also to look out for markets for these recoverables, the recyclables that we recover. Plastics, of course, constitute close to 20% of the waste that comes there. Majority of that is the ice water sachets. That's causing a lot of nuisance in the system. I must say that we are currently just done with our phase 1. That's the composting. We're now moving into the phase 2. That's the recycling aspect of our operations. We are currently undertaking a feasibility on a small pilot on how best to convert the ice water sachets into pellets. Okay, the ice water sachets you see littering all over the place are the very materials that are used for the black polythene when it's pelletized. It's a raw material. So we're looking at that transformation, and the value of the pellet as compared to the raw sachet is very significant. And as a means of generating more revenue to support or to sustain the plant, we're looking at these options of recycling plastics. Of course, making some of the plastics available to the bean manufacturing plant also.
To industries.
Exactly. But then it all depends on the quality and then the types of plastics that end up coming to us. Yeah.
Now, you mentioned earlier on in our conversation that one of your main concerns was with sorting, the quality of raw material that you get. You need to sort it, you need to wash it, and so on and so forth. The other part was with its value as a result of the quality that you get coming in, the value that comes out. Are those the only two challenges that you're currently facing?
No. The other issue also has to do with other contaminants like fecal material. At a point, the waste that was coming from the market had as much as about 10% fecal material.
Human waste?
Yes. And the sorting plant is not 100% mechanical. It has human interventions along the line. And if it becomes quite extremely difficult for people to come into contact with such materials. So we then have to pick and choose where the waste must come from. You understand? And then again, the challenge, of course, another challenge is the waste not separated from source. If the waste were separated from source, like he rightly said, if we had these bins and then the waste have been separated before they come in, it makes a lot of sense and a lot of savings.
A lot of savings, yes. A big difference. Adams, do you think that communications alone can do it? I mean, can make this difference that we're talking about? Can reduce the 10% fecal matter human waste to zero? Can sort the 20% plastics from everything else? Just communication, just public education, just advocacy, you think that would suffice?
We are not just doing communication or advocacy, even though we all accept that communication is key, because if I'm doing something that the populace do not understand, it means that they won't support me. And in waste management, it's an all-inclusive approach, not just Zoom Lion and then not just the government, but we also need the people to understand what we are doing before they can really contribute meaningfully to what we are doing. So public education is the major task that we are facing as of now, but it's not the only. We also do periodic cleanups currently due to the floods. We are in collaboration with the Regional Coordinating Council, the Ghana Police Service, and then the Ghana National Fire Service, where we do periodic cleanups on weekends to pave way for the floods, for the rain to move, so that we don't get serious flooding just like we used to get. So advocacy, yes, that is why we are taking in a broader approach now, taking various and different approach to get our target audience. And then also we also do the cleaning And then we are also building our capacity. We have a new Institute of Waste Management and Sanitation to build up our capacity, and in order to enhance our education, enhance our skill, enhance the quality of waste management experts that we have in the country. So we are not just targeting, even though our main target is the audience, and then through advocacy and public education, we are also into various means. And then our free bin project is also still ongoing. You can just call us, and then you get your free bin. And then, just like he said, the composting plant is also an initiative of the Zoomlion group of companies. So we are not just doing advocacy or public education, but we are also trying various ways to solve the waste and sanitation problems in the country.
Okay, I'm just referring to what Michael said earlier about, the quantity of human waste in the raw material being so great that they've actually had to pick and choose sites that they take their rubbish from. What do you think you can do when it comes to public education to make sure that traders in markets and visitors to markets sort the waste out, so we don't have human and other waste lumped together at the point of collection?
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, we have that challenge. The Accra Compost made that challenge known to us, and then that is even the more reason why we started our public education at market centers. And then if you ask him, it has improved tremendously now. Even as at now, the market women are those who are really helping us with the source separation of waste, because we have the very big containers at the market centers, where we have educated them to, most of their waste is organic. That is food, the food aspect. So we have very big bins there where they put only food aspects in one, and then for the others, because we don't have various containers, they dump them in the others. So currently, I can confidently say that the market women are the people who are really helping us in terms of source separation, based on the things they produce and then the quantity in which they produce them. So yes, we had that challenges, but now we have worked on that, and then we are moving from market center to market center, educating them on what we mean by source separation, and then what source separation can also do to us.
Looking at the clips that we've been playing during our conversation, one can easily see that your operation is a very impressive industrial one. There's a lot of investment into machinery and plant equipment and personnel and so on and so forth. So there's a very big gap between yourselves and the sorters or scavengers that you earlier mentioned. Do you think that you could bridge that gap somehow, work with smaller operators, traditional sorters and scavengers, in order to make things better for both of you?
Oh, definitely, yes. As we move on to the second phase, the recycling, definitely the volumes of materials that we recover, the recyclables, would not be enough to fully run the plants that we'll be setting up later on. We'll definitely have to be doing some buying back, setting up some buying back centers, where the scavengers, the materials that they've recovered from the dump sites or even from the sources, will bring them to us, and then we'll better able to recycle them into raw materials for the various companies that we have. There are a lot of industries in Ghana, small-scale industries in Ghana, scattered all over the industrial area and the spinters area, that do this a lot of recycling, with the exception of the PET bottle, that we don't have any company yet. The water bottles, the Coke, and then the Voltic bottles. Those ones, we export them outside the country. Yeah.
You export them outside the country. I'm just curious, what sort of investment is one looking at if one decides to have a plant with a capacity like yours, 500, 600 metric tons a day? And what are the operational margins? How much profit do you target to make?
Well, you go into details here. Plants of that size, nowhere in the world can operate on its own when it comes to composting, that will be able to rely 100% on composting and survive. No. All over the world, we're talking from China, Israel, Netherlands, and Canada, and all those places, with the exception of the those individuals having their composting units in their farms. Plants of this size are fully supported by the government.
fully supported by the government.
Yes, in terms of tipping fee and then the management fee. The waste that comes in, more or less, is a property of the government. Formerly the waste was going to landfills, and when it gets to the landfill, the government takes care of it, manages it. We just don't dump the waste there. So if the waste will have to come to us for us to manage it, there's that opportunity cost there.
So what's the picture in Ghana as we
Yes, the arrangement, the government has to take in it, so that the waste that is coming to us, the 600 tons that is coming daily, yes, there's an arrangement for government to pay us so as to be able to manage the facility to sustain it, because the whole thing is very critical, very, very critical. As I said from the beginning, if what we're doing so far is close to 50% of the waste that should have otherwise been on the landfill coming to you, and now Adams will point out that we don't even have sites for landfills. The communities, no communities accepting the siting of landfills in their area, and that's why the only place of dumping is Abukubi and Tema, and apart from these two places, our end. So if we are not able to help sustain this facility, run into the future and even grow and take more waste, well, I'm sorry, I don't know how we're going to manage this kind of thing. Yeah.
Interesting question to end our conversation on. But here's just a quick one for you, Adams. What has been your greatest challenge when it comes to attitudinal or behavior change for us in Ghana in relationship to how we manage, or what we do with our rubbish, our waste?
Okay. Our greatest challenge has to do with people directly littering the gutters that are, most of our drains are open drains, and then you find people putting up a full load of sack which end up blocking the gutters. Our gutters are not very deep, so a lot of people dump into it. A lot of people have connected I think sewage from their house into the gutters. That is also helping to choke the gutters. So our major problem has to do with dumping into open drains. You meet a lot of people dumping into open drains. So we are pleading on the general public, we are appealing to them, we are begging to them that this is a challenge for all of us, not just Zoom Lion Ghana Limited, nor the government. It is a challenge that is facing Ghanaians, because when you are attacked by typhoid or malaria or cholera, it is you that is attacked. They don't select, the mosquitoes will not select people to bite and say, okay, Adams is in Zoom Lion, so let's target straight to Adams and go and bite Adams. They bite everybody they get. So that is our major challenge. And then with this flooding also, we are pleading on the general public to support us when we come to their communities to clean. They should come out in their numbers, help us clean their communities. We mostly do as drain desilting. That is what we mostly do when we come around, because of the rains, and we know what these rains have done to us in the past years. So my last comment has to do with pleading with the general public to support us, support the government, so that we can all push sanitation forward.
Thank you very much. Adams Mahama, Communication Officer of Zoom Lion, then Mr. Michael Padituo from the Accra Compost and Recycling Plant, where he's the Sales and Marketing Manager. Lots of posts on the topic, including making waste management a major course instead of one that's sub or under engineering, about motivating both workers and clients and consumers to do better. And nice greeting from Marlon Solomon Yami Jansen to Rhoda Bentil inside C Poly. Good morning and God bless you. Okay, I'll be right back after this break, so stay with me.